Listen to Today with Sean O'Rourke with the RTÉ Radio Player.
Quite an extraordinary conversation with Liz and Aaron there. Really, you think you have problems and then you hear stories like that. Now to another topic. The rise in pop-up markets can be seen in almost every town across the country. Rarely a week goes by when there isn't a market day of some sort. However, not everyone is happy with the availability of goods at a market stall. Retail Excellence are calling on the government to toughen up laws around pop-up markets in order to level the playing pitch, as they put it. The group, which represents more than 1,700 businesses in Ireland, has said the existing laws are obsolete and don't reflect modern retailing. On the line now, Lorraine Higgins, Chief Executive of Retail Excellence Ireland. In studio with me is the co-founder of Irish Village Markets, Des Vallely. Thanks indeed for coming in, Des, and taking our call, Lorraine. Look, what changes do you want made to the regulations for casual trading, Lorraine Higgins?
The number of changes, Sean, that we need to see made. This was an act that was introduced pre the building boom, where there wasn't a huge amount of availability of retail stock out there. Now we have an oversupply of commercial premises. So what we're seeing in the 1995 Act is that it's too prescriptive in terms of the fact that it doesn't apply to private land. Unless there's an event that's happening on it. So we're seeing a plethora of markets now pop up essentially in commercial areas that might be designated for amenity setting or for other settings. And we just find that that's unsatisfactory and it's threatening retailers in areas that these are appearing in.
And you have a calculation, I think, for the impact. It will say that a day's trading by these pop-up markets, as you call them, would have on the people who are there permanently.
That's correct. A number of retailers would have reported to us a downward spiral of 20% in terms of turnover on a given day that the market would operate. But we just have to look, it's not just food markets, it's much broader than that. And when you look at the 1995 Act in Section 12, there's express provision for food markets and no reference at all to other types of markets that are popping up. And this raises obviously other issues to do with product safety, consumer rights. And it's a welcome move by the Minister to go and look at recalibrating the essence of this Act.
Okay, look, Des Vallely, you're co-founder of Irish Village Markets. I mean, is it the case that, you can just sort of set up shop or stall whatever you want and there's no real regulation to worry about?
No, absolutely not. I mean, hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Des.
I'm not too sure what Lorraine, when she refers to amenity areas and designate. I mean, we operate a markets, pop-up markets, food markets. That's primarily what we do. And we have to meet the same stringent regulations and we have to follow all the rules and procedures as everybody else. I mean, I know recently Lorraine has commented on this, saying that, we don't have the toilet facilities, we don't have the sinks, we don't pay rates. I just want to make this very clear. We are a professional organisation. We pay commercial rates. I've got rate bills from Dunleary Town County Council, Dublin City Council. All our guys are registered with the HSE. They all provide sinks. We have toilet facilities at all our markets for all our staff. And we have to follow very, very stringent rules. I know personally the fire chief of Dublin, we work closely with them. And so I don't know what the difference between us and the pop-up shops might be. Now, just another note, 20% you're saying loss of earnings from your members when we have a market in town. Well, I'm sorry, if it's 20% or 30%, that's business. I mean, our markets are very, very, very popular.
Just give us an idea of where they are, if you wouldn't mind, Des.
Our markets are all over Dublin. I mean, you're talking about amenity areas. We've got a market today in UCD, which is set up beside the lake. You see the students and staff alike will come along and taste the food at that. And there is a couple of shops or restaurants in that, or spars or whatever, convenience stores, and we compete against each other in a fair and open, transparent way. We all follow the same rules and there's no difference. If the customer decides to vote with their mouth and it takes their wallet to our markets and not these lobby group shops, then so be it. I don't see why they have to come on and gripe on national radio about this and that.
Well, but because they're invited.
Can I just come in there, Des, in relation to the points you've made there? We've seen a lot of office developments pop up over the course of the last number of years and even throughout the building boom. And what we're seeing is that a lot of management companies now are trying to sweat the assets and they're, allowing food markets into their premises. Their planning permission, strictly speaking, wouldn't allow for that. because they've already designated certain retail space, certain office space, and so on. And then all of a sudden, on amenity areas, places that people are supposed to sit around and dwell and enjoy the facility, we see food markets, which is not in the spirit of the planning permission, and there's been a lack of enforcement of this by
Okay, well, we say not in the spirit of planning permission. We have another market today on the banks of the canal at Mespil Road. Dublin City Council have granted us planning permission for 3 years to operate a market on that site.
And that's on public land.
No, it's private.
Private land.
Well, private or public. I mean, we have to operate.
This is the problem with the Act, Des. The Act doesn't provide for private lands.
But
therefore,
Higgins,
we're seeing a huge number.
Whether it's public or private, surely it adds to the gaiety of an area if, for a couple of hours every so often, every week or whatever, people can go and enjoy themselves. And maybe businesses in the area, they might just, see extra footfall that could be to their benefit maybe later on.
Look, so we're completely supportive of anything that enhances a customer's engagement with a particular area. But where there are laws out there in relation to planning, and those aren't being abided by, and those laws aren't being enforced.
But sorry to interrupt, where are the laws not being?
In relation to private land, and that will be the main thrust of our argument, and it'll form part of our submission that we'll put into the Department of Business in relation to the Casual Trading Act to bring it up to modern day standards.
I just wish that you had
practices.
Sorry, let me interrupt. I just wish if you'd done your due diligence, you would probably understand that there is no casual trading required for private lands to operate markets in London, Dublin, or Munich. It's not a problem, Lorraine. Okay, it's not a problem.
It is when it's on property that's not designated for commercial purposes, and rather it's an amenity area on private land. There is a difficulty there because that's not operating in the spirit of the planning permission that might have been approved.
So maybe when you have the likes of Bord Pleanála ruling in our favour, allowing us to trade on private lands, and this is allowed by them, and then where is your gripe with that?
No, it's where planning applications haven't been made, Des, is what I'm referring to. And I think you well know that, and I think you're being slightly disingenuous with what you're saying with regard to it. But also, if you look at the Casual Trading Act, there aren't sufficient penalties in relation to practices that are against the law. Right now, if you do something outside of the spirit of the Casual Trading Act, you can be fined up to £50 or the euro equivalent. So, when you think about the district court jurisdiction has now been brought up to €15,000, it's time that we reflect that.
Just one thing, you did say earlier you pay rates, but I mean, how do you pay rates on a pop-up market?
We pay rates. We have to pay rates. We're rateable. So Down County Council will charge us rates for Mespil Road. We have our facilities in Sandyford, which we operate a Friday market at, so we pay rates for that. It's a building which we use. Okay, the market's outside, but we're still using the building.
And for instance, over the road in UCD, I mean, what rates are paid for that?
We don't pay rates at UCD. Okay, and there's several, I'm not going to say we do, there's several markets we don't pay, but any market that is rateable and we're asked to pay rates, we pay rates for. All our traders pay VAT. So I mean,
just made my point, Des.
But sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I'm not. Sorry, Lorraine. Just 1 second, please. Just 1 second. You have the Restaurant Association, and you have IBEC, and you have your group, Retail Excellence. All these lobby groups talking about the change to casual trading. Okay, I don't see what the problem with the casual trading laws are. You're saying that there's illicit goods being sold at markets. I mean, unfair advantage to your traders because we don't pay rates. But I can show you rate bills. Okay, I can show you that all our traders follow the rate.
The rates don't apply to every single pop-up market that you have.
Well, let's not get into every particular market, but the markets that the council deem are rateable and planning permission is required, we operate.
Back that up.
Sorry, Lorraine. When the council tell us that our markets are rateable and require planning permission, we follow those guidelines, and we've done that. And speaking about being disingenuous, for you to go on and talk about our guys not following the same rules, that is disingenuous. I mean, we're highly regulated. We're checked regularly by the HSC. We're checked by fire chiefs. I mean, when we go to launch a new market, we have to do a risk assessment and safety plan. And we have used the services of former HSA and practicing barristers for that.
I'm not disputing that aspect of it. What I'm disputing is the fact that there's an intensification of commercial activity in common areas, in office blocks, which you were well aware of.
I'm well aware
that your markets operate. That is contrary to planning permission that would have been granted in the first instance. And that's an issue. And that's what we propose to address in our submission to the Department of Business. And hopefully the Minister will sum up, your side of the argument, our side of the argument. But as things stand, it's unsustainable for retail, which are, and people are facing a lot of challenges at the moment. And this is one of them.
Yeah, just one other question before I let you go, Lorraine Higgins, and it's current. And I think some of you, the people you work with, would, at least in part of their business, work in hospitality. The 9% VAT rate, do you have a view on whether that should stay or be raised back to 13.5%?
I think it should be retained. I think it's really important for a lot of rural Ireland in particular who are operating in the tourism business. Undoubtedly, it'll make the difference between them going out or indeed hiring staff or otherwise. Okay,
well look, we'll leave it there. A pity about the deterioration of the line there at the end, but we are out of time. Thank you both indeed for joining us. That's Lorraine Higgins, Chief Executive of Retail Excellence Ireland, and Des Vallely, co-founder of Irish Village Markets. Thanks indeed. It's 11 o'clock, time to go to the news.